Hey, this is our first class Koontz again with the 92 Fox Lima Whiskey course. Sergeants, I want to make sure that I touch base with you on the analytical essay, S311 in the NCOC 3 curriculum that we cover. Clearly goes through the analytical essay, and we will cover this in class, but I wanted to give everybody kind of a heads up on what you're dealing with when you're putting your paper together. We will go through all the learning scope and everything in the classroom, but again, the case study that we're utilizing for this is Operation Anaconda, and we're utilizing the principles of mission command. Again, there are 7 levels of mission command. In the past video, in the ADP 6-0, it lays out those 7 principles of mission command. And you're using these to develop a deep understanding of the topic and explain your analysis. You're required to give an in-depth introduction to the topic, then develop the body of the paper using not less than 3 full pages and no more than 5. Do not, under any circumstances, have less than 3 pages. And if you go over 5 pages, we're going to hand it to you again and tell you to shrink it up. Provide transitional sentences from one topic to the next, and we'll talk about that in a second. Give 1 additional reference for your bibliography or your references at the end. Ensure that you use Type's New Roman font and the current APA writing style. And the APA writing style that we're going to utilize is APA 7. So make sure that you're following suit with the APA 7 writing style. Again, the mission command elements. And there are 7. Competence, mutual trust, shared understanding, mission orders, commander's intent, discipline initiative, risk acceptance are the 7. Now, the question you're going to ask is, do I have to write these in order as I'm putting my analytical essay together? And the answer is no. You don't have to put them in this order where you start with competence and work your way around. In the classroom, we will talk about kind of the order of operations with these. And one of the things that I personally believe is that the first one should be the mission orders. The mission orders set the table. Once the commanders set out those mission orders, it really clears up what then the commander's intent is, builds into a shared understanding where you can put mutual trust in place. After this is taken into consideration, the mutual trust, the mutual trust builds into competence. Competence, when things go wrong, goes into discipline initiative, and then finally you have your risk acceptance. Oops, sorry. And it can be any order that you want, and we're going to go through that in the class and really kind of lay out the order. But as you're writing your paper, again, we're going to go back to this page. So you're required to give an in-depth introduction to the topic. So that on your very first page that you write up, what you're going to do on your very first page is the very first paragraph is going to be your introduction. That introduction is exactly what it sounds like. The very first paragraph is going to have your thesis statement on it, and it's going to be kind of an in-depth introduction to the topic. So you're going to introduce Operation Anaconda. What was it? What become of it? Kind of the bells and whistles. Really kind of an introduction, and then with some sort of a thesis statement stating that the principles of mission command were either met or not met. All 7 either met or not met during Operation Anaconda, and the 7 principles of mission command include, and then you lay out those 7 principles of mission command. Then you're going to transition into your first full paragraph in the main body, and that first full paragraph might be, for instance, what we said just a second ago. Your first full paragraph might lay out the mission orders. And the mission orders, the principles of mission command, mission orders indicate blah. And the mission orders for Operation Anaconda were such, and based on those mission orders, the units were either able to accomplish their mission or not accomplish their mission based on those orders. And then you're going to work your way into the second paragraph by saying, for instance, if your second paragraph is mutual trust, that the mission orders, while put together properly, helped build a cohesive mutual trust with units. Then your next paragraph is going to be on mutual trust. And then you go from there. Next sentence, next sentence, next sentence. One of the best writing tools that are out there right now is the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or the OWL. The website is there. This is through the University of Purdue. And it talks about the APA writing style. This is the most commonly used. And we, again, are using the 7th edition of the APA. So make sure that when you're putting all this together, you're using the 7th edition. Your essay should be typed. I don't know why it should. It's going to be typed. It's going to be double-spaced on standard size paper. 1-inch margins on all sides. Use clear font that is highly readable. APA recommends using 12-point Times New Roman font. You are going to have a running head. The running head on the top of the paper will be the title of your paper. And the title of your paper is Operation Anaconda Analytical Essay, or Analytical Essay on Operation Anaconda. That title cannot exceed 50 characters, and of course it's not going to exceed those 50 characters. Again, your essay will include these 4 main parts. Your title page. Your title page is going to be nothing more than a page on the very front that has your name, the title of the paper, the course number that you're in, and the instructor, or in the date. Okay, and we're going to cover that a lot more. It will also have your thesis statement in your very first paragraph. From there, you'll have your main body. Your main body, along with that introduction paragraph, will be no more than 3 pages long. I'm sorry, no less. Let me say that again. No less than 3 pages long. You want to be no more than 5 pages long. Your very last thing in your main body is going to be a conclusion. And in conclusion, you can see throughout this essay, it was pointed out that the elements of mission command were either met or they weren't met based on the information that was given. And then your last thing is your reference page. And we're going to talk about the references here in just a second. So again, we're doing the Operation Anaconda case study. We're utilizing the APA writing style version 7, and we're putting our analytical essay together. Now, let's go back here for just a second. The second thing that you need to absolutely make sure that you are aware of is the rubric. The rubric is Form 1009W. This is sent out in GroupMe, and it's also found in the curriculum, out in the shared drive in the curriculum under, hold on one second, under 30, oh shoot, analytical essay, where are you at? There we go. S311 is the analytical essay. And under the analytical essays, where you're going to find the S311 or the SLC 1009W document. That 1009W document is the rubric that you're utilizing. And the big thing that it lays everything out here that you have to have in the writing assignment, have to have in place, and then it goes into it. And your first thing is your introduction. To get the superior points between 9 and 10 points, you have a strong introduction of the topic, clearly delineates the subtopics to be reviewed, and fully supports the thesis statement. What that is saying is that's your very first paragraph. That's your introduction. And in your introduction, you're going to have clearly stated what Operation Anaconda was, when it was, maybe number of casualties, maybe number of, or the assumption of what they were getting into versus how it ended. Plus, you're going to have your thesis statement that states whether or not Operation Anaconda followed the 7 levels of mission command and the 7 principles of mission command. Then you're going to go into your topic body. Your topic body is where you're going to lay out all 7 principles of mission command and explain how they were or weren't met in Operation Anaconda. And if you look at that, solidly introduced all aspects of the topic preparedness, fully linked the topic to the overreaching theme. And that means that each one of those paragraphs has met the standard, and you have clearly defined each one of those principles of mission command and how they either were met or weren't met. Okay? The sequencing and transition. Sequencing and transition is what is kind of what we talked about just a second ago with when you transition from one principle into the next, from paragraph to paragraph, is that ultimately you're introducing the next principle in the paragraph above it, so it sequences and it flows. So you don't just go from one principle of mission command to the next principle without doing an introduction of that next principle. And if you don't have that in there, it really is kind of hard to follow, and the flow isn't there. So that's why that sequencing and transitioning is a huge part. Your grammar and correctness is very simple, and we're going to show you a tool to utilize with your grammar and correctness. Grammarly is an awesome tool. It's absolutely free, and you just upload your paper into Grammarly, and it checks for all the punctuation and grammatical errors, any spelling, punctuation errors, anything. Readability. This one is really kind of a hard one, and is very subjective. Your writing flow is going to be there if your sequencing is there. If your sequencing isn't there, it's going to be very awkward. It's going to be hard to follow. The reader will try and figure out exactly why you transitioned into that element if you haven't introduced it first. Your APA formatting, if you do your paper correctly and utilize Microsoft Word and how it explains how to do everything in the OWL program, these are easy points. The APA style and a scholarly style is in there. And then finally, your references. Now, you're given 2 references. The 2 references you're given are ADP 6-0 and Operation Anaconda, the case study itself. So right away, you're given 2 references. It's just where you make those make reference to them in your paper is important. My suggestion is to have at least 1 more, if not 2 more, references to other documents or other articles you may have found very interesting that'll help prove your point. And that's it. In all honesty, that is your rubric. And again, if you follow your rubric and you kind of track how the rubric follows along, your paper will come along nice and easy. But I strongly suggest, first of all, setting up pretty much a table of contents. Lay out right away the 7 elements and how you think they would flow better. So laying out that sequence first, and pretty much put that table of contents together, and then start your writing. And maybe go in and research, pardon me, with different colored markers. And if you have 7 different colored markers, and mark off when you see, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I can see where competence fell in the case study under this, and competence is orange. So you highlight it in orange so you know where to go back to it to make reference to it. Again, the biggest reason that we're doing this, the analytical essay was put into the NCOESs because of the dramatic disconnect between the commissioned officer and the non-commissioned officer. And they're trying to bridge that disconnect. And one of the biggest disconnects is written communication. And that's part of the reason that we're putting it here. And it truly does, and we'll preach this in the classroom as well, it truly does promote a more solid, rounded, strong NCO with a very strong communication foundation. So if you do have any questions, you all know how to reach out to me. Just let me know what your questions are. And again, I look forward to reading these. We get to read 24 of these every semester, so or every class that starts. So we're pretty excited about all this. But that is S311, the analytical essay, and I look forward to reading them. Thanks, Sergeants. Have a great day.